Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Storytelling Blair. I'm here to give you guys my thoughts on Action Comics Special number 1. That's right, number 1. And who is it written by? Then none other Dan Jurgens and Mark Russell and Max Landis, which is also a nice added surprise. Now, I know what you guys are wondering, why is this like a compilation story like Action Comics 1000? And to be honest with you, I have no idea. DC probably just had some extra stories lying around and figured, you know what, maybe we should just put it together in a book and ship it off as a special and give Brian Michael Bendis more time to do his Superman epic. But anyway, I wanted to just talk with you guys really quickly about this issue because I thought it was really cool and really well done, and it's a great send-off for Dan Jurgens. So real quick, I'm going to go into spoilers about the story. Yes, I'm kind of pitching it to you if you're not really interested in picking up this issue, or maybe I'm going to change your mind about it. If I do, that's awesome. But most importantly, I really just want to talk to you guys about it. And I want to get into spoilers to really talk about it. So I'm sorry guys, if you have not read this, you should check this out. If you're a Superman fan, please pick this up. If you're not a Superman fan but are remotely interested, this is pretty cool, honestly, and I think you're going to want to pick it up just to kind of understand who Lex Luthor is, because you get 2 stories out of 3 that are all about Lex Luthor. And that's pretty cool, because we don't get a lot of love for Lex. But this issue, we get a lot of love for Lex. Let me get into it. So, Lex Luthor breaks into the Fortress of Solitude. He finds out who Superman's family is, and then he attacks them. He sends a text message to John saying Mrs. Superman is going to be under attack. Superman freaks out, tells John to go to Kara's house. Then he flies over, he saves Lois, and then he kind of deduces that, you know what, this is Lex Luthor, you know, the missile, the kryptonite, all that kind of good stuff. This is something Lex Luthor would do. So he flies over to his building, and mind you, this is in current continuity. This is very recent. So Lex Luthor actually just recently stopped being a Superman clone, you know, wearing the S like he was for a while. And he's kind of going back to his old ways, but he hasn't done that completely. He's still kind of a good guy, right? Well, Superman shows up and starts pointing fingers at him, and he's saying, like, you know, why would you do this and stuff like that, and Lex defends himself, and he's like, well, I didn't do anything. Superman realizes Lex isn't lying. He realizes the suit has been in the chamber the entire time, so he's thinking to himself, he's like, wow, okay, if it's not Lex, then who is it? Well, spoiler alert, turns out it's a Lex Luthor from the future who's 70 years old, around the same time that he was created, which I think is funny. He's 70 years old, and he went back in time to fulfill his one dying wish. And that is to kill Superman and see his head on a pike. And as morbid as that sounds, it's kind of interesting because it really boils down what Lex Luthor is, and that is he really feels like he's the Superman. You know, he is the human who rightfully should be in Superman's spot, that he should be glorified because, you know, he could have done so many great things like cure cancer, you know, create world peace, etc., etc. And what I thought was just really cool about this issue, honestly, was just how well written Lex Luthor was. It kind of makes me sad a little bit because we're getting ready to lose Dan Jurgens. He's no longer going to be on Action Comics anymore. And, you know, to be honest with you guys, that is one thing that is kind of making me sad about, you know, the future of Superman right now. Because as time has gone on, I've kind of realized that, you know, Dan Jurgens, he's been there since the death of Superman. And every once in a while, he picks back up and does a couple of stories and then leaves and then comes back. And I realized, like, I really have fallen in love with his Superman run. Everything he does, he knows the character, he knows the family dynamics, he knows John, he knows Lois, he knows Lex Luthor, he knows all of his rogues gallery, and it's just really nice seeing a humanized Superman where, you know, in this moment when he realizes that his family is being threatened, he just quickly jumps into action and kind of goes overboard about, like, who he's accusing, but you know, I think rightfully so. You know, I think if any of us were in the situation that Superman was in, we would kind of, you know, jump the gun a little bit. So, and you know, it's kind of nice because it puts tension on this relationship between Superman and Lex, because right now it's at a boiling point. We're about to get the Lex Luthor villain that we've always had. We're about to get him back. And I think this issue is a good catalyst for that, to show that sometime soon, maybe in Brian Michael Bendis' run, Lex Luthor is going to go back to his old ways. And that's, again, what's nice about seeing the 70-year-old Lex, too, is because you get to kind of see what Lex was like in the past, and you get to see what Lex is like right now, the parallels between the two, and, you know, how similar yet different they are. And it's really cool. Obviously, Lex was really pissed off that somebody was using his identity, you know, to fight Superman. And at the very end, you know, Superman realized who it was, a 70-year-old Lex, and of course, the Lex Luthor, spoiler, dies right in front of Superman. And Lex comes up to him and he's just like, who the hell was that? Who was impersonating me? And Superman withholds that information. That's not gonna make Lex happy. So, honestly, I was very happy with this issue. Why? Because I think this was the perfect send-off for Dan Jurgens. I loved what he did in Action Comics 1000. I felt like I was back in the 90s. But in this particular issue, he added something very small, but, you know, some big ramifications, and that is Superman and Lex Luthor's relationship falling apart? Yeah, it kind of is. So, overall, I thought this issue was fantastic. Awesome. I was looking more forward to Peter Tomasi's next, the Superman special that's coming out next week. I'm stoked for it because it's going to have something to do with New Frontier. If you ever read that, you should check that out. It's a great story. But, yeah, I was looking more forward to that for whatever reason, and then I read this and was just like, this is what a great Superman story is, you know? Just a one issue, bam! You know, that's it, Superman. And, you know, it was really cool, and I'm glad DC made this special because, you know, again, it's more Superman stuff for me to eat up, but also, you know, it's just nice little, like, kernel stories, like something to chew on, you know, that has a lot of substance to it and a lot of taste. And I thought overall it was just really great. And for anybody who is a Superman fan, I think you will thoroughly enjoy this issue. The issue that Mark Russell wrote, it was really funny when I was reading it. I was like, oh, this is very Max Landis. I could really tell that Max Landis was the one who wrote this one. And turns out, you know, it was Russell. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. But it's kind of fun. It follows Lex Luthor all the way through. Kind of plays with continuity a little bit. I thought it was weird. But yeah, you know, I thought it was a lot of fun. And then the Christmas special at the end was definitely supposed to be a part of the giant Christmas issue that DC released. But unfortunately, because of some problems with Max Landis and DC and them not getting along, this issue got pushed back to Action Comics Special, but I am glad that we got to see it because it was a very nice, a very well-articulated issue with art by Francis Manapool, which is a treat because Francis Manapool is one of the best artists on DC as of right now, in my opinion. But anyway, guys, that was my thoughts on Action Comics Special number 1. I thought it was really cool enough for me to make a tiny little video real quick about my thoughts on it. Most importantly, though, I really wanted to start a discussion with you guys on what you thought of Action Comics Special number 1. So, if you could leave that in the comment section below, I would really appreciate that because I want to start talking to you guys because you guys seem pretty cool. If you could leave a like, comment, subscribe, I would really appreciate that. That would help out the channel here, myself. It would boost my ego a little bit. Just kidding. But anyway, guys, you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Peace.